So this is question 28, which asks to outline 2 conclusions that can be made from the data collected in this study. So it's about the office workers walking down the corridors and how they encounter each other and what behaviours they show. And this question was a little bit weird because normally when you make a conclusion, you just kind of write a summary of what was found. But this mark scheme wanted you to suggest what it showed. So we've got here, conclusions could include the most frequent behaviour was to avoid eye contact. So you get one, well, that's how 6 marks. So you get 1 mark for actually stating it and 1 mark for it being in context. But the 3rd mark is for saying which suggests people do not like acknowledging each other in a corridor. So you have to conclude something from the result because technically the beginning of it is like a finding but without the data value. So a finding is that first sentence there with a data value. A conclusion is that first sentence with an acknowledgement of what it means. Then we've got another example there. The lowest frequency of behaviour was nods head, which suggests people do not like greeting each other as they meet in a corridor. And we've got kind of the breakdown there. So 3 marks for each conclusion. If it's a clear, detailed response in context, it's 3. If it's clear and detailed but not in context, it's 2. Or if it's an attempt that is in context, it's 2. So this is why it's really important to put context on, because if you put context on and you've attempted it, even if it's a bit iffy, you're still going to get yourself 2 marks. And then we've got simply stating a finding, which would be the first sentence, that's 1. An attempt, whether in context or not, is 1. And obviously 0 if there's no credit-worthy information. And context there says corridor, workplace, office worker, so that's all context. It says simply referring to the behaviour categories like smiling is not sufficient for context. So it's got to be corridor, workplace and office worker. It says clear, explicit interpretation of findings, not simply stating a finding. So you can't just say 80 people avoided eye contact. Like, that's not a conclusion. The conclusion is that most people avoid eye contact. For 2 marks, could be saying people avoid each other when approaching the corridor, because you know that is a conclusion, but there's no this suggests that, which is what you need for the end of it. It says do not accept reference to number of people engaged in a certain behaviour as opposed to the number of behaviours. So it's 8. I think I just said it wrong. Then it's 80 times that people showed the behaviour of avoiding eye contact, not that 80 different people avoid eye contact, because the same person could have walked down that corridor multiple times. So you could end up with like one person that's avoided eye contact 5 times. So the number of people that have avoided eye contact is not correct to say. You'd have to say the number of behaviours that was the most is 80 that avoid eye contact. I don't say it again then. So it's easy to do, isn't it? Because it looks like it's people, but it's not. It's the amount of behaviours that have been shown by however many people. You know, you might only have 5 people in that office, but you've got all those behaviours. So you've got to think of it like that.